you can just dictate it, story, just talk it. And then when you take it and you put it all together, you got a really cool thing. So you're going to, synergize that information. And then form and flow. There are flow and form editors. They don't do anything with copy with they're not there to make sure that have all your words together. They don't do they're not doing uh editing for whether or not your spelling is correct and things of that nature. They're there to look at, hey, does this flow? Did you change Andrew to Adam somewhere in the story, right? Um, where did you go with the path of this story? Did you stop in the middle of the story arc and drop off? What happened? Those are the people that you want to have that will, help you massage that and, structure your story. So remember that that comes later, right? And then a workshop actually came out of this because I was doing a workshop and I was speaking in Los Angeles. I was on the stage and somebody afterwards, I came off the stage. There was people standing around. They was like, "Oh, do you have a book?" And I was like, "No, I don't have a book." And I came back and sat at my area. And one of the other people was Dr. Father Boyle, actually from Jobs Not Jails. And he said, "You leaving money on the table. People want to take you home." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Oh, when you are a speaker and you don't have a product or a book, people want to take part of you with them if they had a great experience, and you could be making more money in the back of the room. So even though they paid you $2,000 over here, you could have made like another ten to $15,000 by selling your books because it happened to be over 3,000 people at that event. All right, so that's one of the paths that came with the discovery of No More Crumbs from the Table. And then discover your tag. That's my tagline. I tell people this all the time. Discover your tag. Tap into your talent, your ability, and your gift. All right. And so when you think about getting, form and flow, that's beautiful. But before you get all excited, you still got to get to have somebody come back and do proofreading. And I'm going to share some strategies on that as well. And some places where you can get that done at a very low price. We're about to do an exercise in a minute. We're going to take a break and then we come back. We're going to do an exercise. But I want to talk to you about your story being unique. All right. People get a little, they like, oh, somebody's going to steal my story. They can't steal your story. They can steal the preface of your story, what it's about. Because if you tell somebody, oh, this story is about a little cat that gets caught in, in New York City and can't find his way home, and then he becomes a friend with a dog, and then the dog becomes his best friend, and the two of them, walk all over New York. That's Benji, right? So your story is unique to you. And what I want you to think about is how do you make your story stand out from all the stories that's out there? There are over 320,000 books. Let me say that number again. 320,000 books published every month. And this is published through publishing houses. I am not talking about ebooks that people are doing on their computer and sending it to somebody. I'm talking about actual books that people are going through the process to get published out there. Okay. So, what makes yours stand out? I want you to think about Harry Potter, right? When Harry Potter came out, it was after the fact. It was already sitting on a shelf somewhere where the writer's friend saw the value in it and said, "Hey, you might want to get this out there." And she was like, "Well, I don't know." Right. And this was something, there was a special project. Well, that special project became a phenomenon. Right. So own the process. I always say writers write. Write freely. You don't want to put yourself in like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write, unless that's how you are as a human being. Okay. But most of the time, that's not how the story's going to come to you. It's going to whisper to you. It's going to slide in somewhere. You're going to see something that inspires you. You're going to hear a song. You're going to be somewhere, and all of a sudden, this thought just jumps in your head, and it's like, oh, right? So you want to make sure you have something around. I say if you have a phone, smartphone, it has everything on it. Okay. Matter of fact, a smartphone, you could just open it up and open up email and talk to it and dictate into the email, and it'll be there, right? And then email it to yourself. You could do a text message. I do it all the time. I have a thought, I'll put it on a text message, and then I'll send the text message to myself. That way I've captured it, because a lot of times if you don't, it's gone, right? But write freely. Don't don't try to write and edit. You are not an editor. So that's going to free you up already. Okay. What I tell people when you do this exercise, you do not stop to fix it. We'll fix it later. We'll get people who fix it. There are people who love to fix it. Let them do that part. You write. Tell your neighbor, say, neighbor, you write. Just write. Okay. All right. And then write often. Okay. You might have more than you need for the story. That's okay. Because again, that's what editors do. You know, you have them kind of whittle it down and make sure everything fits nice and neatly and all that kind of stuff. And because they'll tell you, this is supposed to be a novella. You're only supposed to do 32,000 words and you already at 45. We need to come down, right? So you can work with that number, okay? But write often, like, I'm gonna give you a thing called 777, and I'll get to that in a moment. But it's a process that I found works for most people. You can come up with your own strategy, though. I'm not going to tell you only use that strategy, because you might use multiple strategies to make that happen. Okay. But write often, write freely, own your story. It's unique to you. Don't worry about, oh, I wonder if somebody else has this story. Don't worry about that. Because if you go into any bookstore, you're going to see a section of a whole bunch of people talking about that one thing. Lose weight. How big is that? Right? And somebody's writing a lose weight book right now. They're about to, they know the formula of the world right now. They figure it out. And they're going to publish that book. All right. So don't worry about it. Okay. But the biggest thing I say is write when you're inspired, in spirit, when you just feel it. It's like, again, you might be watching something. You might have to pause it, jump up and get to writing. Put something near your bed, near near your kitchen, near your bathroom, the places that you spend time in. All right. At work, have a pad or something there, or a dictator, or you use your phone, because your phone is usually somewhere near you, right? But what you want to do is write when you're inspired. This is very, very important. And the reason is because when you're inspired, it usually kind of flow, and you'll write in flow. There's a flow state, and we'll talk about flow state later. But in flow state, you're not even, it's just coming through. It's just coming from wherever in the universe. I call it the universe. Some people say God. I say God and the universe. I think he gave us the universe to work with us, even though, he's a higher power, or however you believe in that. That's only your belief. That's my belief, right? Sometimes I tell people, borrow my belief, because it's going to help you move, right? But it's in spirit. It's in this moment where it just kind of downloads into you, and you're like, ooh, that's good. That's good. And you look up and it's an hour later, and you don't wrote like 7, 8, 9 pages or 20 pages or whatever. And then one time I actually wrote almost the entire book. I just was writing, and it was just coming, 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 coming. I was up in like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I kept writing. Oh, it's like 5 o'clock. It was just so beautiful. I loved it. Right. And I wasn't even tired when I finished. And that's how I want you to feel if you feel that, go for it, jump into it, lean into it. All right. Now, I teach you this thing called words are picture containers. So when you write, I want you to think in words as well. Because I say right now, I want you to quiet your mind. I know you got stuff going on and you're trying to listen to me. I'm going to say something to you, okay? And I'm going to come off and talk to everybody. All right, so put your camera on if you can, all right? And I want you to do this exercise with me and unmute your phone. Unmute your thing. You're going to talk all at the same time. It's okay. I can hear it all. It's okay. It's not going to bother me, okay? I'm going to give you a word. And right off the bat, I want you to tell me what it looks like, okay? Everybody ready? Boat.
Water.
I'm picturing the Titanic.
Oh.
Come on.
I picture one of those like boats that are like
Ran.
Catamaran, okay.
Tin can.
Submarine.
That like if it was standing flat on the back of it, it
Okay,
looks like an arch.
arch. Got it.
That's like so.
Yeah, like that.
Probably because I just watched. I think that's the last boat I saw. It was like a Scooby-Doo thing where it was like a door standing up in a waterfall, and
Got
then
it.
they tried to reach for some water from the waterfall, and they just fell.
So I gave you one word, but you're able to see all types of things, right? There was a movie called Forrest Gump. Anybody seen the movie?
No, but
All right, most of us that my age saw the movie. Forrest Gump, there was a feather. Do you guys remember the feather?
Yes.
The feather was a indication of change. Every time you saw the feather, you saw something get ready to happen in his life, right? So they used the feather to help us with the story. Dumbo. Anybody seen Dumbo? Dumbo,
Yes.
Disney, right? There is a scene in Dumbo where Dumbo is having a challenge with the whole thing of flying. And it's the crows. The crows pick and pluck a feather from one of the other crows and gives it to Dumbo.
yeah,
It says, use the magic feather. Right? And then Dumbo says, oh, I got a magic feather. I must be able to fly. And he started flapping and flapping and flapping, and then he took off. Right? And then he said, I've been done seen just about everything till I seen an elephant fly. When you think about that story, there was symbols, there was images, there was words. These words are picture containers. If I say elephant, some of you would think Dumbo, some of you would think Africa, some of you would think, zoo, some of you would think Ellie, whatever, right? Or maybe you are AK, I forget, Delta, and you got all kind of elephants everywhere, right? So when you think about these stories, I want you to think about what images are you portraying with your words? Because I could say this. Bob saw Jack. Is that a pretty simple sentence?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Needed an answer, right? Bob saw Jack. Bob couldn't believe it. His friend from middle school was just coming out of the store. It was Bob. They called him Robert, but to him, it was Bob. What's the difference? Lee, what's the difference?
Well, I get more images.
More images. What else? What else? Weber.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. No problem. Eric. What's the difference between those two?
Well, certainly it's way more descriptive, but it's like you can see the movies.
See the movement. Thank you. You can now see the situation, right? And that's why you need words, because I am a reader. And if I don't have words, I don't know what's happening. We are visual people. So your words have to create visuals. So when you say Jane walked to the fridge, that's cool, but she slowly took steps where you can hear the floor creak as she went across the floor to open the refrigerator. Very different. So when you start thinking about what you're looking to say, I want you to think that way so you can write that way. Okay? Nikkei said it earlier. She writes how she talks. Most people do. Don't think you have to whittle it down, whittle it up, because you want to give the reader a journey to take with these words. So I'm going to give you something right now when you come back off a break. Okay? What time we got? Yep,
7:33.
7:33. All right, so I want you to take 10 minutes, bio break, get you some water, whatever, right? When we come back at 7:40, let's give it a little bit more, that'll be less, right? But 7:45, come back at 7:45, all right? Come back at 7:45 and I'll give you your assignment. All right, so, oh, hey, Cindy, how are you?
Hi.
Good to see you.
Happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Awesome, awesome. Why, certainly glad to see you. So here's the exercise. All right. Make sure you have a paper and pen or a crayon or whatever you're going to write with, your laptop, whatever. All right. I'm going to give you some things. Okay. I want you to think about them and then put them into a story. Do not overthink it. Everybody, have fun with it. Okay. The subject. This is the thing, the subject of the story, the subject. The protagonist situation. Okay. Here's the thing. Is the boat. The time frame that this happens in is spring to summer. Spring to summer. The emotion that I want you to engage with this story is happiness. Being happy. Okay. And this can be any kind of story, fantasy, children. I didn't give you any parameters on that. I just gave you 3 elements, okay? A time frame around an actual subject or object, right? Because any object can become part of the story. A pen. Think of Misery. Misery, what was it? Typewriter, right? The cabin. It was the cabin itself, right? Chucky, the doll, right? Think about all the little things, that became part of the story. I want to give you only 7 minutes to write about whatever you're going to write about. 7 minutes. I'm going to set the alarm. I'm going to set the timer. All right. When I say go, I want you to just have at it. Just don't even worry about it. All right. Don't think it too much. Just go ahead and write whatever kind of story that comes to your heart. 7 minutes. Are you ready? Yeah.
In chat or? where?
No, on your pen and paper. You're going to read it back to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Or whatever you have. If you have a laptop. Okay. All right. Are you ready? Everybody ready for this? Okay.
So
All right.
just double checking. It's boat, spring to summer, and happiness.
Yes, those things have to be the elements of the story. No matter how short or long the story is, it needs to be a story that has those things in it. Other stuff you can bring in as you like, but those 3 things need to be part of the story. Everybody ready? Go. And I'm going to put a timer up and you'll see that in a moment. So, I have Cindy at the top. I have Lee second and Weber third. So we can take that, and then Eric, and then Nikkei, and then John. Cindy, you're up.
Okay. As the boat swayed moving through the water on this clear, warm day, his hand reached out to hold mine. I let one hand go of the railing and took his hand, lacing our fingers together. Holding his hand gave me balance on this boat, reminding me he is my rock, my support, my happiness. My happiness is here being with him on this boat.
Ah! All right, you guys. I say we give some thumbs up. I give some claps, some hand claps. Yeah. Right? We give some hearts down at the bottom. You can react. You can throw some hearts out there. Woo! All right. Great job, Cindy. Thank you so much. All right. Let's hear from Lee.
We pushed off the dock at the Washington Yacht Club on the Patrick J, headed for a week on the Chesapeake. Hank and I and Bob and Caroline, Robert and Mylea. We'd all read Michener's The Chesapeake, and we were going to find as many of the spots identified in the story as we could. We were all ready for this vacation, time to relax and to be with each other, tell stories, and explore the Potomac. The weather was perfect, blue skies and smooth water. We were loaded with food and wine, and our first stop was going to be Smith Island. We had heard stories that the people there spoke a dialect unique to them because they had been isolated for decades. We stopped periodically, dropped anchor, and swam. We were excited about our adventure.
Wow. Okay. What you guys think? Gotta do some snaps, snap, snap, snap. All right. I'll stand in. I'll put some claps there. Clap, clap. Hand claps. All right. Cool deal. I'll speak on all of these as when we come back, but we're gonna go through them all first. All right. Weber, you're up.
Okay. The ocean liner, the Stingray, went through the ocean. On it was Star and her family. Star was very excited for the trip, being passionate about scuba diving and the ocean. She was fearless and confident, but her parents worried about her sometimes, not just because of her disability, but because she could be lots of handle. Also, something frustrating about her was she only wanted to talk about diving and the ocean.
All right.
Didn't get that far.
Diving in the oh, that's okay. Don't worry. This is only first. This is first dibs up.
Yeah.
First dibs up, man. This is how that's going. You'll see. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Let's give some thumbs up and some reactions, some positive reactions. Boom. Chakalaka laka boom. Chakalaka baka baka. All right. Cool. All right. Eric, then John, and then Nikkei.
He finally saw land. After falling overboard the party cruise line and luckily finding a stranded little boat afloat at sea, Dwayne would finally make it to land safely. As he started to feel the excitement bubbling in his stomach.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hi, bro. I can swim now. I can swim now. Okay, go ahead.
Wait till you hear the rest of the story.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
As he felt the excitement bubbling in his stomach, he recalled how thankful he was to find this small, stranded little fishing boat in the middle of the ocean. The small wooden boat, riddled with chisel marks and a flat bottom, allowed him to survive nearly 7 days at sea through monstrous summertime storms, and now landfall was near. The boat's name was chiseled into the rickety old wood, and the boat's name was Blessed.
Okay. I'm glad he made it. We made it, Wilson. We made it. Me and Wilson had to get out there. All right, Eric, that's cool. I love it. I love it. You guys are doing great. This is wonderful. I'm seeing smiles all around the board. Smiles all around the board. Okay, let's go, John.
Okay. On a day like any other day in the late spring to the early summer, when the air is warm but the breeze still makes you feel cool. There's
Okay,
a warmth
poet.
There's a
Hey,
warmth
poet.
inside looking at the most basic of wooden boats. The joy of me and my son and the times we had on it will last a lifetime of fun and happy memories. The smiles and laughter we shared with each other on our adventures. We could go anywhere on the little wooden boat, and have many different times in our lives, from playing with pirates to catching an imaginary fish or even fleeing a great sea monster. It was joyous laughter that still makes the muscles in my face move to the experiences they had. Small sadness comes now that the boat cannot keep up with our lives that have changed. He is bigger now in the boat bed, and our imaginary adventures in his youth must go to let a bigger bed in, but those happy times will last forever.
Man, you trying to make everybody cry. How y'all feeling right now? I'm
I do
feeling
it
a
on
little
my
something,
son, so
I'm feeling something. I feel a little it's a teary eyed right there. I love it. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, Nikkei, let's go. Bring it on home.
Okay. Oh, no, I just lost it. One sec. There we go. I didn't get to finish everything
That's
I
okay.
wanted.
Just go with what you
So
got.
it's not. I think it has all of the things, but it doesn't really have like. I'm not sure about the happiness part. I haven't gotten to the happiness part yet.
That's okay. Read what you
Okay,
got.
so this is a thing about Greek mythology. So it's we all know the story of how we got the seasons. We all know the tales of Persephone being kidnapped to the underworld and how her mother, desperate attempts to find her, ignoring her duties, caused the world to die and grow cold. No food would grow until her daughter was returned. That is how we gained fall and winter. When she's returned, Demeter allows food to grow once more. But have you ever wondered why it gets cold even in the summer or the spring when plants are supposed to be growing? And it's supposed to be warm and hot out, or why sometimes it gets too hot, even though it's supposed to be winter and it's cold and everything is dying. The reason is because it was not Zeus or Hermes or even Demeter and Hades who came up with the idea of splitting time in the underworld. It was Persephone herself. She loved Hades, but she missed her mother dearly. She is not bound to the underworld during the fall and winter. She's not bound to the surface in the spring and the summer. She created those rules, and sometimes she missed her mother in the winter when she's spending time with her husband, or sometimes she misses her husband when she's supposed to be spending time with her mother. So she sometimes, just for a day or two at a time, will sneak off to the river Styx. She has her own boat that she takes a secret that she keeps a secret from her mother and her husband. Only the Charon knows about it, as she has asked him to take care of her boat when she is on either side of the river. She would visit them for just a day or two at a time when she's with her mother in the winter. Her mother's heart warms up, and so does the world. That's why it's warmer in the winter on occasional days than it's supposed to. And when she sneaks after her husband, her mother cannot find her for a few days. Her, her mother's she becomes frantic, and the world grows cold until she finds her sweet Persephone once more.
That's amazing. What are you talking
I
about? Let's
I
go,
didn't get to
y'all.
finish
Let's
it. I
go.
wanted to go
She said
talk
she
more
didn't
about
finish it.
her
I'm giving
uh,
rockets.
the
I'm giving
Charon
rockets. I'm
and
giving
the
rockets.
I wanted to add more about the
I'm giving
her taking
celebrations.
care of the boat with the Charon and her
I'm giving
friendship with the
hearts.
Charon and
We're
how
giving balloons. It's so
right.
much. Nikkei, you did a great job. You don't. Here's something you guys. I'm gonna say because it happens a lot. Don't discount what you got. You got some stuff. Remember, now, this is what I want to hear from you guys. When you heard different stories, I wanted to hear what stood out for you from everybody's story. And you can pick whatever stood out. It doesn't have to be any one particular story, two stories, whatever. Cindy was first, so somebody talked to Cindy about what they heard from what she wrote.
It was so poignant.
Poignant. Yes, I love it. Anything else? Anyone else? Let's give Cindy a little feedback. And feedback is a gift. It's not positive or negative. It's just feedback. All right. Anybody else before I give mine? All right. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Totally felt the relationship. Totally felt the boat actually where it's at and how it's there for you guys. And the love was evident in the relationship. So very, very nicely done, Cindy. And how many minutes did we do this, you guys?
7.
7. That's going to come back at you for a moment, right? 7 minutes. Okay. All right. Let's give Lee some feedback, because I mean, she had a whole bunch of stuff. Hank and them was like having some good times. So, feedback for Lee.
I liked how detailed it was. I was surprised you were able to get this so much done.
Very detailed. Names, locations, time frame, all that. The Chesapeake, a book that now makes you might want to read it, right? Cool, cool beans. And then food and wine. Who doesn't want to have that? Right? So very, very well done. Very well done. All right, let's give Weber some feedback for his story.